Hi everyone, Casey here today with a how-to installment on how to operate a chop saw. We're going to go over a little bit of safety, a little bit of inspecting the material, and the securing and cutting of a piece. First thing you do is you inspect the equipment. Make sure the cord's not tattered, frayed, and the saw's in good shape, good working order. Check your guards. Check that you have the proper blade, check your station, make sure it's firm, kind of go through the saw, do a visual inspection, make sure there's nothing, entangled around the saw. After that, then you need to go into looking at inspecting your material that you're going to cut. Today we're going to cut a natural tongue and groove product. There's no foreign material or chemicals in it. Look for splits, cracks, twist, all the stuff that could cause you problems during the cut. You also need to realize that there's metal in some pieces. They staple on stuff, and also, people lay things on the ground. They may pick up rocks or whatnot. So inspect the material, make sure there's no foreign debris or metal or rocks in it. And once you do that, you should be able to proceed with your cutting. Now, when cutting, you have to secure your part. Always secure your part. Make sure your part is firmly against the deck and it's not twisted, bowed, or coming up. There's a clamp on this side here that most saws have them. If you're worried about holding it, you can clamp it down. I'm pretty comfortable with holding it down, securing it with my hand. Once you secure it down, then check your saw, make sure it's in all functional operating condition. This one is. The blade on this one is at the end of its life. I've gone through most of this tiny home with it. I've got 17 more pieces to cut, and I'm going to finish the job. Once you're ready to cut, then you have to look at the safety precautions here. We have earplugs and we have a dust mask. Always use the proper PPE. And when you do that, I'm not going to go into how to fit earplugs. I'm just going to fit them. And the proper respiratory protection. Now, this material doesn't have any man-made foreign chemicals, treatments, or anything like you'll find in some concrete or particle boards or chip boards, or a lot of the engineered materials will have formaldehydes, glues, epoxies, all that stuff in it. So if you're using that, make sure you're using the proper dust mask for the job or respirator. I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to fit this on real quick. All right, we're good and sealed up there. Get our earplugs in, safety glasses on. All right, inspect the piece. Piece is inspected firmly against the saw. Now, a lot of people just this is a sliding saw, so I have options, but you can just plunge right down into it. I'm going to cut across the top first and then back cut the bottom. It keeps a nice chip-free cut. Okay, let's look at that. There you go. So you see a nice smooth chip-free cut right there. It chips out on the back a little bit if that bugs you. If it has to be finished both sides, you can put a plate on the bottom, a backer piece that will give you a zero clearance here so the chipping won't happen on the back side. One other thing I want to go over real quick that gets people is using stops for multiple cuts. Now, when you're using a stop and it's small parts, and this one's I can still get my hand in, but you have to secure the side that's up against the stop. Now, if I were to hold this side and plunge into it, it traps that piece in between the blade, and when I bring that saw back up, bam, it binds up, kicks back. Very common to break your guard that way. It can break the saw as well. So when you're using a stop, be sure to secure this side of the piece. That piece falls away. it's not trapped. So let me get this back on, put my earplug back in, and we're going to use this stop. Okay, and now sometimes the pieces are smaller and you have to cut a really small piece. So what I do in that situation is, if I'm worried about getting my hand in too close to the blade, you put your stop, and say you need a 4-inch piece, you put your stop where you want it, but you add an inch or whatever you have you're cutting. So if I wanted 4 inches, I'd put the stop at 5, use a 1-inch piece, put that piece there, butt the piece up against it, remove the stop, then I can hold it on this side and that ain't trapped anymore between here and here. So once I do that, put this back on, put my earplug back in. Once I do that, the piece is set to the 4 inches plus the 1 inch. Then I can cut holding this side with my hand farther away. And it doesn't get bound up, trapped, vibrate, snap, break the saw, kick back in your face, all that good stuff. Okay, I think that's pretty much the basics of the chop saw. Always make sure you use the right blade for the right material. Check your equipment, wear the proper PPE, or PPE, sorry, and be safe. Thank you for your time.